Hi everyone, this is Eldrin. I'm now standing behind the camera, but it's just because I am going to explain to you what Junxian is going to do. Today we are talking about, and also demonstrating the 5 most important lower body stretches that we do at Zelect Fitness. So the first stretch that we normally do is the hip flexor stretch. The hip flexor stretch is to stretch your hip flexors, and this is to open up the spine, the lumbar spine. Okay, because when the hip flexor is tight, it causes the hip to go into anterior rotation, and when that happens, it can cause spinal compression and also lengthen the hamstrings, which will cause hamstring to be in a weakened position, resulting in many of the hamstring pulls that you see your friends having or what you read in the papers. Alright, so Junxian is now in a hip flexor stretch position. Okay, hip flex. So what we normally do is we thrust our hips forward. We stretch not only the quads also, but the hip flexors. Alright, so and we normally hold this stretch for about 5 minutes. In fact, for most of our stretches, we hold for a minimum of 5 minutes in a static stretch position. Alright, so at the end of about 4 minutes, we'll do like rotations around the hip. So this is a stretch the fibers, the different angles, the different fibers in the the different fibers in the hip flexors. Okay, for static stretches, we normally stretch for a minimum of 5 minutes. This is to really ease the tension down and also to increase the length of the muscle. Alright, so for all static stretches, you should stretch for a minimum of 3 to about 6 minutes. Okay, now the next stretch that we would usually do is the hamstring stretch. Okay, so we are doing this by sequence. So the hamstring stretch, you can see that Junxian is in the hurdle stretch and he's easing into it slowly. Okay, he's trying to keep his knees straight and he's pulling his feet in so that the toes point towards the ceiling. Okay, you must maintain your breathing. Okay, do not hold your breath. Okay, and we will also hold this stretch for about 5 minutes, if not longer, depending on how tight and how much tension you have. Okay, so the next stretch that we would usually do is the adductor stretch. Okay, the adductors are very important because they are your secondary hip extensors. So when you do a squat, normally many of our clients will feel it in the adductors. So stretching the adductors is a very important part of lower body stretches. Right, so he will lean forward and he will feel the stretch in his adductors. Feeling a bit of soreness at the medial portion of the knee is normal. Okay, but just touch the soreness, you don't have to go through it. Okay, a slight discomfort is good enough. Okay, the next stretch that we would do after this is the pigeon. Right, so when we do, we will just make sure that we place the knee directly underneath the sternum and we just lean forward. As you can see from this position, he's leaning forward and he's holding the stretch. Okay, remember to keep on breathing. Alright, and you should feel it. You should feel the stretch at the butt. Alright, you can feel it in the rotators in the butt, especially your piriformis as well as the other rotators. You have 7 deep rotators in the butt, so you can read up all about it and Google it. Okay, the next stretch that we would do is a side stretch. And this is a very interesting stretch because what it does is that you will feel it's like a slight nerve mobilization stretch because you will feel the sciatic nerve in this stretch. In Junxian's position now, you should feel the sciatic nerve stretch if you have got sciatic nerve impingements in the left butt. Alright, and you also might feel a slight mobilization of your lumbar spine, which is a good thing. You try to get your shoulders down to the ground and your leg extended, just as you see what Jun Xian is doing. Okay, hopefully what we have shown you is useful for you. We see you all again. We thank you for watching us on our broadcast. Thank you very much.